Super exciting video today. It is actually my 5-year fitversary. So 5 years ago on this date, I started my fitness journey. I started going to the gym. I started eating healthier, and it literally changed the course of my life. I had no idea then, but it literally would turn me into a whole new person and again, change my life. So in this video, I'm gonna tell you why I started, everything that happened throughout my fitness journey, how it changed me, how it affected me, and I'm also gonna be showing you guys some pictures and videos from along the way. Stay tuned. What is up, you guys? It's Anthony Mundo. Thank you for tuning into another video. Really appreciate your support. 5 years. 5 years in this thing. I literally cannot believe it. Even like when I was doing that little intro there, like I was talking about 5 years, like, man, I cannot believe how fast that went. Like I was 18 years old, now I'm 23. Like so much has changed fitness-wise, in my personal life, just me as an individual. It's crazy to think about like that whole journey and that whole transformation. And in today's video, we're going to talk about all that, the past 5 years. But I want to start you off with the backstory in case you're not familiar. And again, I'm going to be putting pictures and videos up all throughout the video, so I know you guys will enjoy them. So let's start off with the backstory there before I started my fitness journey. So as you guys know, like throughout my whole childhood, I was just kind of chubby. Overweight, always dealt with kind of not being able to control my eating. I was just a lazy kid, very weak-minded kid. I didn't really want to do anything that was difficult. I was selfish, so I didn't want to, keep my health, in a good place. I don't know, so I always dealt with it. Even though I was in sports, I was always the bigger kid, so, I heard a lot of comments like that. Like this one time my basketball coach told me, I need to lose weight because like I'm not lean enough to be playing basketball. So I dealt with that all throughout that, and even in school, hearing comments and stuff. So dealt with a lot of that stuff, just like you may have. So in high school, I just kind of kept gaining weight, and then I was playing football and I broke my wrist. So I got injured, I got taken out of football because of that, and because I had to sit out, I wasn't active. I literally just played Call of Duty all the time, so I wasn't burning those calories that I usually did, so my eating habits stayed the same, but I was no longer, staying active and everything. So I ended up gaining, a significant amount of weight, and I got up to 260 pounds. Okay, so that was the heaviest I ever been. And at that time, I was 16 years old, so, I had just got my driver's license, so I had, all the access in the world to food, and I think that was a big contributor of it. But basically, the reason why I started to get on my, weight loss journey, this is a couple years before my fitness journey, was because, number one, like I was called out in a school assembly. Someone announced me as like the 300-pounder, Anthony Mundo. And also one of my football coaches told me that I may want to consider being a lineman. So those are the guys that are, not particularly like, skill players or anything. And I had never done that in my life. Those are usually like the heavier set guys. And I kind of I took that to heart. So I was like, okay, we need to start losing weight. So I lost weight. And for the rest of high school, I kind of just, I wasn't heavier. I wasn't really skinnier. But I kind of stayed around the same weight. Now, on March 1st, 2014, I played my last ever basketball game, and that was the last sporting event, last time I would ever compete in sports. Now, throughout my whole life, sports was a huge part of my life, and it's kind of like all I did, right? It kind of became my identity. Even though I was kind of overweight, I was pretty solid. So I remember thinking like, all right, this is over, because I wasn't going to play in college or anything, so what am I going to do? So we played that last game on March 1st, 2014, Saturday. On March 3rd, 2014, I decided to go to the gym to start looking up bodybuilding stuff. I wanted to sculpt my body. I had lifted before in the past, but it was more for performance. And I wanted to have like an aesthetic physique, because I don't know, even as a young child, even though I was overweight, I always dreamt of having abs, and I was always very fascinated of people who could, be lean and be in shape and, you know, just look good in general. So that day, March 3rd, 2014, 5 years ago from this exact date, I walked into the gym on that Monday, did your basic bro classic chest workout, started eating healthier, didn't really know what I was doing, but you know, I started to use common sense, started to eat more whole foods, stopped snacking a lot, and that's all she wrote. I never stopped training, I never stopped going to the gym, and I have yet to regain any weight. I made significant amount of progress in that time, and my nutrition has always been on point since. So it's crazy. I never really had to fight like internal demons of like going back to my old self or like quit working out, you know, taking a break from eating healthy. Ever since that date 5 years ago, fitness has been a huge part of my life, which is absolutely nuts to me. So when I first started, you know, it was just like those newbie gains. I was very excited to be in the gym. I seen results very quickly, and the first couple pictures I'll put up here, man, I was like so proud of those things, because like that was the first time I ever seen any definition in my body, or any really, like I really had to work for that. Okay, like that was the first time that I really put in a lot of effort into something and I reaped the benefits. So that was like, whoa, like I can actually, man, if I work hard, I can actually do something really good. That was so exciting. So, you know, the first month or first months and year go by, and, you know, I'm loving it. I'm getting into training, learning more, kind of watching more YouTube videos, and kind of understanding more about how nutrition works and how it affects your body. And then, for these next couple years, I kind of, it kind of became my identity. So like, you know, like those classic like meatheads, those people that, you know, all they do is lift and they don't do too much else. Like that's kind of how I kind of got to that point. So I started to become, you know, kind of obsessed with how I was looking, and training was like the pinnacle of my day. I didn't lose a lot of friends during this time, but I stopped hanging around a lot of my good friends, like my childhood friends, because I kind of started to think of myself as being better than them, because I was focused on this, and I didn't want to party, I didn't want to go out. All I wanted to do was focus on training and nutrition, and it's almost like I struggle with this, because during the time it was very admirable, because I wanted to change, I wanted to be better, I wanted to be happy with myself, but I also did miss out on a lot. So this led me down the path of kind of not having a lot of close friends, but I had a good physique and I was building a lot of muscle. When I say it now, it's like, what were you doing, bro? Like, what does that mean if there's no one around you? But I was just so enamored with the results I was getting. You know, I was obsessed with going to the gym, training, getting stronger, you know, again, like building more muscle. Then like, I would say 18 months to a year, 2 years after that, I went on my first cut, and that was like the coolest thing ever. Like, I remember that was a very awesome time, because that was the first time in my life that I had really ever been lean, like with muscle. So I started to see my abs for the first time, which I'll put here. Man, I was so excited when I seen that picture, because I was like, whoa, like when you're overweight as a kid, like you don't even know if you have abs. You don't even see that as being like a reality for you. You don't even think that's possible. So I remember when I seen that was like all the juice I needed to continue to do everything that I was doing and just really focus on bodybuilding and fitness. And this was a very fun time again, because I had never seen myself like this, and it was very exciting. Got down to really low weight, was enjoying, you know, every training session, you know, macros, calories, everything was on point. I was in college at this time, so I didn't really have too many responsibilities outside of that, so I was able to really focus on it, and I got really good results. So that happened. I got down to really low weight, was looking good, and I decided I wanted to build some muscle again. So then I went into a muscle building phase, which I had planned to, you know, make it slow, but it kind of turned into like a dirty bulk. And you know, some life things happened during this time. I remember during this time, like my grandma passed away, and there was just a lot of things going on. You know, life happens, just like I tell you guys. And I ended up getting kind of fat again. And it's crazy, because I didn't ever think I would get back to that point. And what's also crazy is you would never know with my shirt on, because like I had the most muscle I ever had in my life. But if I took my shirt off, you could not even tell that I lifted, because the bulk was taken too far. And, you know, even though I was basically in the worst shape of my life, honestly. Like, I remember the first time I tried to do cardio after after trying to get out of this hole that I put myself in, like, I felt like my heart was going to be out of my chest. Like, I was like 215 pounds. So that's like 25 pounds away from what I sit right now. And I held a lot more muscle then too. So I was a pretty big kid. But like I said, if I took my shirt off, that muffin top, it was all there. Like, I looked like I was basically fat again, but that was all part of the journey. So then after that, I went back and I decided to do a cut again. And this is a very consistent trend throughout the last 5 years until like the last year and a half, is I would do these bulking and cutting cycles, because I was like I was basically never happy with how I looked. When I would bulk up, I would think I was too fat, and when I would cut down, I would think I was too small, and I was hungry all the time. So after this little weight gain, this little, you know, taking the bulk too far, I decided to do my second cut, and this one was when I got in the best shape of my life. And I'm sure, like, you guys seen this picture here. I use it sometimes. But I was probably, like, the unhappiest I ever was. The second cut, this time around, it was so, like, meticulated for me. And I wanted to do everything perfect. And I had already known how I was going to look, really, from the first cut. So nothing was, like, new or exciting. I felt like I was just trying to get to a point where I was, like, the most ripped and shredded I was in my whole entire life. And yeah, I don't know, I just really didn't enjoy it that time, even though I got in the best shape of my life, hands down, aesthetically, not like internally, health and everything, and mindset and mental side, but I definitely was in the best shape of my life. But during this time, and this is why I try to tell you not to focus on, you know, being the absolute, like, most shredded, most ripped you can be, or try to shoot for abs all the time, because during this time, I got so lean, I was very restrictive with my diet. I only allowed myself to eat certain foods. I was on very low calories. So this is when I went through, like, my binge eating episodes. So what would happen during this time is Monday through Friday, my diet would be on point, and then Saturday, I would allow myself to eat anything and everything. A couple weeks of that, it started to turn into Friday and Saturday was, you know, whatever I wanted. And then a couple weeks after that, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So it's crazy, because even with that best physique I had, which I'm sure I'm going to be putting up, I would only maintain that for 12 to 24 hours. And that's why I really try to get you guys to understand. When you see that stuff on Instagram, people don't walk around like that. That picture that I took was in the morning. I was dehydrated, decent lighting. I was more tan then. And I got a pump before. So it's like very, very deceiving. So don't believe everything you see on social media. Because I was basically trying to deceive others and try to make myself feel good about what I was doing. So during this time, again, best shape of my life, probably the unhappiest I've ever been. Because, again, I was only focused on this. This was the main, priority of my life. And I remember during this time I got so lean that, like, I was, like, so agitated all the time, very frustrated, very short-tempered, which, if you guys know me, like, how I act on camera is how I act to others. I'm very patient and genuine, empathetic, and kind. That wasn't me. Like, to think about it now, it's crazy, but I definitely was a different person. So this led me, and this is when I'm so glad I went through those binge eating and kind of seeing myself turn into a person I didn't want to be, because this led to me finally finding some balance in my life where I felt like, I was like, okay, like, I can't do this forever, right? I need to find a place that I can be happy, I can look good, feel good, but not feel like I'm dieting 24/7, or not feel like I'm bloated 24/7 and fat again. Because I didn't want to be on either end of the spectrum, but I naturally thought that I had to look my best. So during this time, I kind of just stopped that restrictive dieting. I kind of stopped counting calories because I have such a good foundation of macros and calories. I kind of just did it, I kind of use like a mindful approach now, and that was the best decision of my life. That was about a year and a half ago from today, which is crazy to think about, when I finally found balance and I wasn't like obsessed with going either way. My diet is very manageable now. I never feel really hungry, but if I want something to eat, I can get it. My workouts, like, I love working out, but like it is not the pinnacle of my day. It's seeing people I love and doing stuff like this, giving back, and touching other people's lives, making an impact and self-improvement. So that was awesome. And then what the most exciting part is that led me into last year doing YouTube, putting my first YouTube video out, and we're almost at the 1-year anniversary for my YouTube. Man, that's nuts to think about. When I put that first one out, I was so happy because I felt like the only reason I was able to do that was because I was finally like okay with myself and finally okay with where I was at, like in a fitness way. I felt like before I was trying to be someone I wasn't. I was doing the fitness journey for someone else, but finally a year ago it clicked, like okay, I've learned a lot. Maybe I don't have to be in the best shape, walk around in the best shape every single day. Maybe I can take all this information I learned and try to help someone else who is in the position that I was in. And it truly is crazy to think, man, going from being 260 pounds as 16 years old to, doing fitness YouTube at, 22 years old. I was 22 years old then. And then now, all of last year, I put out, free content. I was doing YouTube videos, Twitter, Instagram, really started putting out more content on Instagram like September of 2018. And this year, beginning of 2019, I officially started my online coaching business. And it is absolutely nuts to think about how far that has came and how fast that's actually gone since I started accepting clients. And it's funny because right before I started this video, I was writing training programs, writing nutritional programs, connecting with clients, doing weekly check-ins, talking to people, trying to help them with their weight loss and their fitness journeys. It is, I know I've said this a bunch of times, but it is so crazy to see it finally come full circle where I'm at a place where I'm happy with myself. I kind of got this whole balance thing figured out. And now I'm helping other people with their journey, which this has been the most rewarding. I don't care. I was in the best shape, seeing my abs for the first time, took my first, shirtless selfie for the first time. Forget all of that. Like the feeling I get when I feel like I've made an impact on another person's life, the same way other people did for me, that has been the best feeling. And it's such a rewarding thing to see it finally come full circle. And it is actually unbelievable. Fitness has completely changed my life. That's what I want to talk about next. It's obviously changed the course of my life. You would not be watching this if I did not make that decision on March 3rd, 2014 to go to the gym and start eating healthier. So, my main point before I ramble on anymore, you never know what those little positive decisions, those little positive choices you make, you never know how far they're truly going to go or how much they're truly going to affect and impact other people's lives. We make all these choices and these decisions daily, and we really don't think it matters or it all adds up, but it does. Like if I wouldn't have decided to go to the gym that day, what would I be doing? Like my whole life would be different. And fitness has taught me everything that I didn't want to be. So when I found myself being an agitated person, being so, enamored with only the results I've seen in my physique and myself, and only worrying about myself and being selfish rather than worrying about creating long-lasting relationships, I was like, okay, I need to change that. When I started binge eating, I was like, okay, this isn't right. I need to change that. And now I know exactly who I want to be because of fitness. It taught me to, push hard for something, to work my butt off, to not only just expect results in the short term, to forget about immediate gratification, but to put in the work so in the long run you can reap the benefits. Because if you want to do anything worthwhile, you're going to have to put the time in. I know you guys want to see results fast, and I do too. I'm a very impatient person sometimes, which is completely normal. But I'm telling you, this thing will teach you that if you want to do something truly special, it is going to take longer than a couple weeks or a couple months or 30 days. I don't care. And it has taught me so much self-discipline, so much respect for myself and love for myself that I'm able to completely transfer it into anything else I want to do in life. And that is what I want to get across, is doing this, taking care of yourself, loving yourself, making sure your health is on point will make you a better person for other people so you can give back to other people. Isn't that the whole purpose of this whole thing? And I'm so glad I experienced that, and now that's why I want to give back and do these videos and connect with people and coach people and help them get their selves right, so that, you know, I'm not doing anything special. I'm just being a helping, guiding hand along the way. And I don't know. It completely changed my life, and I know I take it for granted sometimes, but it's crazy. Literally changed the course of my life, and I'm just so happy because I'm the happiest I've ever been. You know, I'm focused on self-improvement now. I literally have my own business. I'm doing what I love every day. I feel like I'm fulfilling my life's purpose. I'm, you know, pouring into my passion every single day. So I'm so thankful that I made that decision 5 years ago today. And thinking about it now, very nostalgic. I remember that first workout. I remember how I felt. And I'm so glad I went back the next day and I continued on for 5 years straight, because who knows where I would be without those little decisions. So that's my 5-year fitness journey. I hope you guys got some inspiration, some motivation out of this. Please know that if you put in that amount of time, you will see the same results. I have nothing special about me. I just chose to stick with it and to, you know, endure bad times and go to the gym when I didn't want to and eat healthy when I didn't want to. That's all it takes, I promise. So if you're on your journey right now, just stick with it. You will see all the results and more that you could ever imagine. Thank you so much for watching the video. Thank you for always liking my videos and just commenting and supporting me in general. Like, you're awesome. Yeah, thank you so much. I'll talk to you soon.